Global cooling. The polar opposite of global warming, yet often overshadowed by it. The rising temperatures every year are a product of the natural cycle our planet goes through and will likely continue to go through for hundreds of years. Normally, the cooling phases are caused by fluctuations in insolation. Eventually it hits a tipping point and the weather starts to change. One catalyst of this change can also be the oceans, given they are responsible for a lot, if not all, of the winds that control the direction of the planet's weather. This change isn't instant though, and it never has been. Instead, it slowly cools over time to create waves of glaciation that form massive ice sheets over the Earth's surface, waiting for the next warming cycle to begin again. We have many ways to make energy during the cooling and warming cycles, but only a few of them are clean. During the warming cycle, there is a lot more water and sunlight, causing floods and droughts. With more water, there would likely be more wind due to the expanding oceans, and droughts would provide a perfect environment for the collection of solar energy. Another upside to having the increased amounts of water would be hydroelectricity, which is collected from dams all across the world. However, there is a major downside to all of this: flooding of coastal cities due to the rising sea levels. Pollution is a new factor to the cycle that hasn't occurred before. It speeds up the warming cycle unnaturally, meaning the cooling cycle could come much sooner than it should, or it won't come at all. We all know about pollution, and it's talked about by people all over the world, but it's only a piece of a very large puzzle. The imbalances created by pollution and a warming Earth are also what cause storms to form, leading to lives lost and homes destroyed forever. Storms continue until the imbalances in the atmosphere are corrected. Imagine the cooling cycle and warming cycle as a cold and warm front. It's very likely that when the warming cycle ends and a cooling cycle begins, we can see storms worse than we have ever seen before. Such storms could also begin when the warming cycle matched with pollution reach a tipping point, becoming a catalyst for storms that can change the world as we know it. In the end, this can lead to massive environment change. We're already seeing this change in desertification, and it will begin to change other environments as well. Near the oceans would be the most promising areas in the world when a cooling cycle begins, because we can fish for food and use multiple sources of clean energy. Farming will also start to become difficult because crops would not be able to adapt quick enough to the new environment unless we modified them to endure such a climate. This new climate would be frigid and unforgiving to every living thing, causing most to freeze to death. To picture this change, imagine the deserts, rainforests, and multiple areas in the world completely frozen over. Animals and other wildlife would also have to get used to the end of a warming cycle and adapt to the beginning of the cooling cycle. The examples we have of this happening in the past are the mammoth and the saber-toothed tiger. They both adapted to survive in their respective environments for millions of years during the last ice age, but couldn't adapt to humanity in the warming climates at the same time. Most animals would die off as the new ice age began. However, a lucky few would survive and start a new food chain in a changed world. The question is, would we survive the beginning of this new ice age? Who knows if or when another cooling cycle will happen, and how we'll survive the next ice age if there even is one. One thing is for sure though, we'll have to adapt to a new environment when the time comes. It's not confirmed how much faster the warming cycle is being sped up by pollution, but we should always be prepared for cycle change if it ever does come. However, even if the natural cycle of cooling is prevented due to pollution, storms will definitely try to start it. That isn't likely to happen in our lifetimes, but more so the lifetimes of our grandchildren. When that day comes, if we aren't prepared, we could see countless lives lost, and our ways of life as we know it gone forever.